Sick stray dog was on the verge of death, but one man gave him a new lease on life. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil native Wilson Coutinho Martins dedicates his life to helping animals of all sorts. He is well known in his community for his rescue and rehabilitation efforts, and has even begun to amass a sizable and dedicated online following. For Wilson, every opportunity to help an animal in need is important to him, but there are some rescues which stand out from the rest and some animals that remain very close to his heart. One of them is a rescue dog named Davy. Wilson received a tip that there was a stray dog living in the woods near his house, but when he investigated, he couldn't believe what rough shape the pooch was in. With some hard work, however, he was able to give Davy a new lease on life. Wilson Coutinho Martins is a Rio de Janeiro, Brazil native who is well known in his community for his tireless dedication to helping neglected and abused animals of all kinds. Wilson documents his research and rehabilitation efforts on social media and has amassed a significant online following, with a Facebook page that has more than 500,000 followers. Back in September of 2012, he embarked on one of the most personally significant rescues of his career. While he was hiking in the woods near his house, he came across a little makeshift tent with a dog living inside. Strays aren't an uncommon sight in Rio, and the matter is further complicated by the fact that many pet owners let their dogs and cats wander unsupervised. This pooch, however, was clearly in need of urgent help. Wilson had actually received a tip that the dog, whom he later named Davy, was living in the woods, and he had been unable to sleep thinking about the poor, sickly thing living out there alone. The tent indicated that someone had intentionally abandoned Davy, as did the small, now empty food bowl that was inside of it. Wilson wasn't sure how long the dog had been out there on his own, but he was all skin and bones. He later realized that the dog weighed just 28 pounds. Davy's ribs and hip bones were clearly visible under his thin white fur, and this exacerbated the open wound that he had on his backside. The lesion had clearly started at the base of his tail, but had grown, leaving nearly all of his rear infected, raw, and discolored. In certain places, the sore was so bad that his bones were exposed. Wilson knew the poor pup needed help right away. In addition to the wound and his malnutrition, he also learned that the dog was anemic and likely had an illness he got from ticks. He tried to walk Davy home at first, but the dog's open sore was so painful and inflamed that he could barely move on his own. Wilson had to carry the pooch out of the woods and to his house to begin rehabilitating him. At home, the first thing he did was bandage Davy's wound that it was no longer exposed to the open air. Then he took him to a vet, where they gave the dog a blood transfusion and then put him on IV antibiotics. Davy's recovery was touch and go at first, but Wilson's round-the-clock care helped him make it through. After a month, his lesion finally began to heal, and as that improved, he was able to begin to put on weight. A little over a month after he first found the dog, Wilson posted this update on Facebook. "Our Davy is well and gets better every day. He got pretty fat and his improvement is visible. Thank you to these 3 veterinarians who helped me in the recovery of Davy." As Davy's health improved, so did his mood, and before too long, the pup's distinct personality began to shine through. He was very much a people person and had a penchant for tearing up pillows. After a number of months, Davy's wounds had completely healed and he looked like a totally different dog. Save for a small scar on the base of his tail, Wilson was overjoyed to see his hard work pay off. Through the whole process, Wilson had grown very attached to Davy, and at a certain point, it became clear that he was going to adopt the dog permanently rather than try to find a new family for him. Eventually, Wilson posted an entire album of photos documenting Davy's miraculous recovery on Facebook, and the photos have attracted more than 35,000 reactions and 10,000 comments from well-wishers. Thankfully, Wilson found Davy when he did and was able to give the sick dog a chance to live a healthy and happy life. It looks like these two will make plenty of happy memories together. That sore must have been such a terrible ordeal for Davy. Thank goodness Wilson found him when he did and gave this puppy a fighting chance.